we have got a lot of gold. 320 million tons of gold confirmed, worth 12 point something trillion dollars.
America's GDP is 27 trillion. China's GDP is 17 trillion. Germany's GDP is 4 trillion. Japan's GDP is 4 trillion. Now, these nations are far bigger, but it was discovered in a small landlocked country called Uganda, gold worth $12 trillion. It means that this is the richest country, but that's just in one mineral. And other things are yet to be discovered, just as you're going to see in this video. That if this country can bring out this gold, then it can even cause an inflation in the gold market. That is how rich our nation is. However, there are other resources that this land has that are even more valuable than the $12 trillion, which are covered off our face, which are under-administrated, which are poorly mined. They are poorly mined. The methods we are using to scoop this wealth cannot benefit the nation. And then a nation with such wealth ends up to be a third world country. It ends up to be a beggary country. It ends up to be an abattoir of men. It ends up to be a weird country. But if you see how much we have, what is mentioned is just less to what this nation has. Please enjoy the video.
We cannot explore all the riches of Uganda, but in a nutshell, allow me share a few things that show the riches of Uganda as the most richest country in the world.
We call God for a Uganda we don't know. But we must be able to know our nation. To call God in the weight we must call him. Now, the Bible speaks in the book of Psalms chapter 24 must be verse 1. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. It says, the world and they that dwell therein. Now, whatever we are going to hear was for the Lord. Or is for the Lord. That he has given it to a land for us to steward it. We must steward this which was of the Lord, but he has given. Everything we see here belongs to God. But whatever I'm going to read here is one of the things that have been discovered about Uganda. Now, this is a summarized report of minerals in Uganda. Now, when we say summarized report, it's another way of saying this is not it all. Existing and non-discovered.
Surely there is a lot more to this which I have mentioned. Number one, we have copper, and we'll also speak a few of the locations that this happens in Chilembe. And as you see the video below, you see what copper can do and the rest of the minerals. We have copper. Copper can be found in Chilembe in Kasese district, in Bobong in Kotido district, Chitaka in Busenyi district, Kampono in Bara district. And it does a lot. Cobalt can be found in Chilembe Kasese district. Beryl can be found in Tungamo, can be found in Bushenyi district, can be found in Kanungu, Bulema, Isasha. You see, we have chromite that can be found in Moroto district. Now, we have gold. Many of you know that gold is able to change the whole economy. Just one mineral. Gold can be found in all these districts. In Bushenyi, in Barara, in Kabale, in Chisoro, in Dukunjiri, in Kanungu, in Busia, in Mubende, in Moroto, in Hoima, and many streams of the West Nile. Uganda is stocked with gold. Yeah. I want to speak about iron ore, which you can find in Kabale, Chisoro, Mbarara, Hoima, Tororo, and the magnetite in Bukusu. You see? And definitely when we speak about the lead in Kamwenge district, lithium in Kabale district, and in Nyabushenyi, columbite tantalite, which you can find in districts like Kanongo, Chisoro, Tororo,
tin, which we can find in Nyamaherere, in Tungamo. We can find it in Chikagati, in Isingiro district. We can find it in Barara district. We can find it in Kabale as well, in Tungamo border, and Chisoro district. Titanium, we can find it in Manafwa. We can find it in Tororo. And we can find manganese in Isandara, Guliko, Chirongo. We can find silver occurs in Galema Chitaka in Mobende district. We can find zinc in Kamwenge district. We can find rare earth elements, which is rare earth elements, carbonites in eastern Uganda, Mukutu in eastern Uganda, limestone marble, in Tororo and Kotido districts, phosphates, graphite. But peculiarly, I want to pick a few minerals that we can look at. Now, all these minerals we are talking about, you can find coal in different parts of the country, and you see some of these minerals have made different countries' economy to boost from one level to another. Maybe to speak of the 1960s to the 1970s contribution of 30% of the GDP of the nation.
Under this new era, we have lost over 29% drop in the GDP when it comes to the mining. The same thing that used to contribute over 30% of the GDP of the nation now contributes just 1%. And now that's shocking. It shows that either there is an undermining,
or else we have embezzlement, whereby the mining, which would have been a public activity, has become a private activity, and it's no longer benefiting the nation. We can speak about things like gold. Look at the United Arab Emirates. Look at Nigeria. That areas with gold and well utilized has brought an upgrading of economies and change, which Uganda has. And you can see what gold can do. I am interested to speak about uranium. This is the raw material for nuclear energies and nuclear powers. You see, many nations have become superpowers because of nuclear energy production. Nuclear energy production from the uranium can come with a lot of things, you see, including the making of nuclear weapons, which are on demand on different nations. And this has caused many nations to become superpowers in terms of defense and all other things. Ladies and gentlemen, Uganda has uranium in the nation. Of course, we have cobalt, we have mercury, we have coal. Coal mining is one of the biggest activities in South Africa. A lot of coal mines with the energy that is derived from coal and the supernatural growth of coal stones. We have more than 881 million tons of coal in Uganda, and no report pertaining coal production or coal energy production in this land. Let's speak about the salts in the different rivers or lakes, like Lake George, and natural salts that are used for different things, to add flavor in a number of things, and also for chemical reactions that make a number of things. Let's speak about the sand, like the sand in Rwengo, the glass sand, which is one of the biggest economic activities in China, one of the biggest traditional economic activities in China, production of glass. You see, this sand can be that it's a glass sand. It's what they use to make glass, and it can boost the economy within no time. Of course, we have a number of things. The Ugandan wood, the class of wood that we produce, which sometimes many Chinese have flown in to come and make plywoods and other woods and other things in the same land. To mention but a few, but maybe last but not least, let me speak about the oil of Uganda. Now, in Uganda, it was discovered a good years ago, probably 20 years ago, that Uganda has brooks of oil. In 1950s into 1960s, where Uganda was far better than the United Arab Emirates, because then the United Arab Emirates was just but a desert. No trees, no infrastructure, no nothing. And then they came to discover the oil brooks and administrated this very oil well. And a few years down the road, the United Arab Emirates became a center of tourism. It became a center of wonders. As you can see, Yeah, it became a sin because of the brooks it's found out. Now, 20 years ago, Uganda found out the brooks of oil. And these brooks in Hoima have been therefore silent for more than 20 years, and no clear national report is given towards the advancement and the advantage of these very brooks to the nation of Uganda, you see. But if the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Kuwait, and other nations have been able to utilize the brooks they have for the advantage of the nation, how comes that we identified the brooks in Uganda and nothing is added onto us? Surely, Uganda is a rich country. The energies we have, the solar production because of our weather, the capacity that we can produce, if we utilize the energies we have, like the sun energy, the moon energy, the heat that comes from the climate, the coldness that comes from different places, you see, the hydro energy, which is generated from different water sources that are not limited or that are not limited to production, which would have given us the financial or the economic muscle to stretch forth to different nations of East Africa and be of advantage as we boost our economy. Yeah. So when we look at all these things, you look at the minerals and then you look at the state of the nation, it's a wake-up call. You see, it's a wake-up call.
Look at the methods the Ugandans use vis-a-vis the methods other nations use. Is it that we are not giving value to what is freely gifted of us by the Lord? Is it that we have a poor administration? Is it that we do not know the market of these things? Is it that we have a low production capacity that we cannot scoop out these things and utilize them? Yeah. When you look at our methods, look at that vis-a-vis other nations, their level of productivity, their diligence in this sector. You would be amazed at how substandard we are compared to the resources that the land has. What we have in the ground can boost our GDP 270 times. This is phenomenal. This is amazing. This is amazing. 270 times can the gold of Uganda boost the GDP of Uganda. If well managed, the best methods, besides these methods we have of digging the surface and sieving the waters, besides the embezzlers, men who are guarding the gold of the nation with guns, besides the greedy men who do not want to see the nation go ahead, if Uganda utilizes its gold, it can get to the map of the richest country in the world. Praise King Jesus. So when all things are done and everything is done properly, Uganda's GDP can be boosted 270 times only by gold, not forgetting that we have more other resources in the ground. When you find this useful to our nation, please like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to watch out for part 2. We love you. God bless you.